Good day. This is a grade 11 and older plus N4 and older video, not for younger students. It is about word sums, compiling and solving word sums using the quadratic equations. When solving quadratic equations, I would advise students to use the quadratic formula, which you must be used to by now. But you can also use factorizing, you can use completing the square, or there's quite a few methods. We'll use about 3 or 4 of them here. Do what suits you best. All the questions explained in this video was taken from Mathematics N4 New Syllabus by MJJ van Rensburg, published by Tropont. All the explanations are 100% our own. All the questions are caps aligned for grade 11 and 12. Any problem in maths can be done in many different ways. On this channel, we follow a certain method. If you feel safe with that, you can do that or use your own methods. At this stage, we assume that you know what the word successive means. It's the same as consecutive. It's the same as follow on each other. On this channel, we use consecutive numbers formulas as x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. There are others. Consecutive even numbers, we go for 2x, 2x plus 2, and 2x plus 4. Consecutive uneven numbers, we take 2x plus 1 as the first one, 2x plus 3, and 2x plus 5. Please look at the video that explains consecutive numbers. Now to the first word sum. The sum reads, the square of the sum of two successive uneven numbers is 64. Calculate the values of the two numbers. The first number we're going to take as 2x plus 1, and the second number is 2x plus 3. First we add these two numbers, then we square them, then it is 64, we equate it to 64, and there is our quadratic equation ready to be solved. We simplify in the brackets, then you may square root both sides. Remember to put the plus minus over there. Break this equation up into two solutions and solve them separately for x. Then you get x equals to 1 or x equals to minus 3. Remember, you're not finished yet. We decided on the first number to be 2x plus 1 and the second one to be 2x plus 3. So we substitute this 1 back in here and here. So the first number could be 3, then its consecutive friend would be 5. But this x could also have been minus 3. If you substitute that in here, you'll get minus 5, and in here, and minus 3. So the two consecutive uneven numbers could be 3 and 5, or minus 5 and minus 3. And that you write as your final answer. If you lost me in this technique, I advise you to go to this step, square this bracket out, bring the 64 over, and go for the quadratic formula. It will also get you down to these two numbers. Second question, if 3 is added to a number and the square is taken, it will be equal to 24. Calculate the value of the number. Start by saying, let the number be x, or any small letter of the alphabet. The question says, 3 is added to this number, so it's x plus 3. Then it says, and the square is taken, so we square that. It will equal to 24, so we equate it to 24. Now it's the same as the previous one, but I'm going to take another technique. You can put two brackets next to each other, which is the same as square. Simplify this equation, which most students feel safe with. Write down what small a, small b, and small c is for the quadratic formula. Write down the quadratic formula. Substitute your values. And solve for x and round off to the amount of digits they ask you. Please stop the video and get your brain around this one. The next question reads, the length of a rectangle is twice as long as its width. The area is 84 millimeters square. Calculate the length and the width. First, we always draw a rectangle and put in our length and width. There is other methods, but I always try and take the smaller number as x, which I did here. I wrote the width is x. Then they said the length is twice as long as its width, so I make that 2x. Because they said the area is 84 millimeters square, I write down the formula for area of a rectangle, which is length times breadth or length times width. And you fill in your values. Simplify. Simplify further. Square root both sides, and remember to write your plus minus. But in this case, we're not going to use the minus square root of 42 because we're working with lengths. And lengths have to have a length. It can't be a negative length. Using your calculator, your width, which was x, is going to be rounded off to 6,481 millimeters. And your length was 2x. So you just times this by 2 on your calculator and write down your answer. Please stop the video and get your brain around this. Last question of this video. The square of a number plus 4 times the same number is equal to 12. Calculate the number. Could start by saying let the number be e. I told you this variable can be any small letter of the alphabet that suits you. It says the square of the number, so we take the number and square it. Then it said plus 4 times the same number, 4 times e, is equal to 12, so we equate that to 12. There is my quadratic equation ready to be solved. Because of the rules of quadratic equations, I bring everything to one side, equate it to 0. Then you may factorize it or use the quadratic formula. Then find the answers of what e may be. The number could be 2 or minus 6. Please stop the video and get your brain around this. Please indicate whether you liked or disliked the video and subscribe to the channel. If you run into any word sum on school level or N4 that you have trouble solving, you may send a clear WhatsApp photo of your problem to this number and a clear WhatsApp photo of where you tried it. And we will try and help you and send back an answer as soon as possible. Enjoy quadratic equations.